I like the color purple. And we're back. Hello, and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 48. There you go. We're 2 away from 50. Wow, that's going to be right around the corner. It will happen this week. It is Monday, aka the Vulcan Raven workout. My God, there's literally nobody else on the road. Come on. And I am looking forward to it. Didn't do it last week because I was busy on last Monday because it was a holiday and I actually had to go do stuff. But anyways, so today I'm feeling good, a little tired. I had to wake up early in the morning, had to deal with a dog throwing up, which was always fun to deal with. But you know what? It was fine. It wasn't too bad. It was a quick thing, but just getting back to sleep was kind of annoying. So it is what it is. But we're a little tired. We're gonna be a little wired afterwards. Got a coffee with my name on it waiting for me afterwards. We're gonna have a coffee episode eventually, or caffeine, because I'm slightly sensitive to a bunch of caffeine. But we'll have that discussion on a different day. Today I want to go a little bit more philosophical because of this morning I was having a little bit of a issue of what should I talk about today. Nothing's really happening right now. I'm listening to a podcast about the final episode of WCW, a defunct wrestling organization that I was thinking about talking about an episode about like the last episode of like the series or something like that. Not like the actual last episode, but like, you know, just like the idea of what the last episode would look like and like a proper signing off of and stuff, and maybe going down that little rabbit hole maybe for another day. Right now I'm not in the mood for something like that. This series just started and God knows how long it will go, so talking about something like that so early seems too much to jump the gun. Maybe in a couple of years, you know, I'll talk about what the final episode will look like, you know, a few years from that, but who even knows. So that is something. That will be an episode, but not right now. Today I just wanted to talk about something that yesterday I was thinking about while standing outside looking around for poop in my backyard trying to clean it up, which was such a simple thing. I think it was because I was listening to the Brains and Gains podcast. Shout out to those guys. They were talking about like if you had the option of going on like a Joe Rogan or a big podcast, would you rather go on for 15 minutes or just talk to the person like privately for an hour? And then they were talking about that. And then I was thinking about like, oh, okay, if I went on Joe Rogan, if I had to ask, if we had like a conversation topic to talk about, what would I talk to him about? What would I pick his brain about? And I think the thing that I thought of would be, I would ask him, and then I asked myself this, is, do you ever worry that you haven't had an original thought? And it made me think, because I was like, Joe Rogan is somebody that gets influenced by people that come on his podcast all the time. He sees everything. He's like, you know, connected by a bunch of people. He has his own life experiences and stuff like that. But I always wonder, you know, because I'm always like, you ever just think about the idea that maybe none of the things that you've ever thought are original to you? And that, I don't know why, but that's somewhat of a, like, it's a very deep philosophical question that I don't feel like many people like to ask, because one, you're implying that they are unoriginal, but two, that they have no creativity upon their own. But in which case, I would say, of course, there are people who have creativity and stuff. I'm not saying that, you know, people who create art and music and film or whatever, it takes a level of creativity. But realistically, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, it is just a reflection off of something else that you've been influenced by. And then it's that thought of why would I do this, and what are the influences that cause this? So for example, I was thinking about it yesterday on my own, where I was thinking like, all right, the original thought to myself is, I like the color purple, right? I like purple. I just generally like purple. But question is, why do I like purple? And then it makes me think, maybe around my life there have been things that are purple that I associate with goodness, and that's why I like purple. So in theory, the purple is just an association, right? Which makes sense, yeah. But it's not originally to me. It's not original. I've been conditioned by something else in order to like purple. For example, grape soda. I love grape soda. Still love it when I was a kid. Is purple my favorite color? No, but do I like the color purple? Yes. But the thing is, it's something like that where it's like, all right, they make products, the shade that is that, like the color grape, you know, so, or blue raspberry is the better example, but they make things that color, and then it's like, all right, so have I been conditioned to want this color? Let's say the color blue, because that's particular for raspberry. Or do I actually enjoy this color that I see randomly? In my brain, that's where it goes from the, like, do you have an original thought type thing. I don't know why I was thinking about that like yesterday. It just came up and I was like, yeah, I wonder. I wonder if other people think that. that? Like, do they question whether or not whatever you're thinking of is an original thought? You know what I mean? Like, is there such a thing as an original thought is the other question, you know? What are the other influences that have been created to make something? So even if you're doing art or music or whatever you're doing, your medium of creation is what you're doing copy of somebody else that you don't even realize has been influenced upon you, or just a hodgepodge of other things that are all combined into one. So something like for example, like even this video series technically is a vlog, but incorporating fitness, but also incorporating podcast elements. So it's like we take different bits from different things. I'm not necessarily saying I'm an original person making this combination of things, because I feel like there are other people who have probably done this before as well. That's why I don't feel like this is an original idea per se. So that's why I'm curious about this. I could see where my influences come from. I could tell you it's like a combination of Casey Neistat, fitness influencers I've been watching recently, and then listening to podcasts, just general podcasting. Those three elements have combined together in order to make what is this series. You can see the influences of other things in other people's either content or whatever they make, you know? And it's just interesting, like, you know, obviously it's the adding your own twist to it that makes it original, but then I'm like, but what is your twist? Are we original? Have we gotten to the point now where everything is just a copy or like an echo of something from the past? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe this is just something that I'm thinking way too deep about, but if we aren't asking these questions about the deepness of stuff, then you get people that are like, oh, I don't like it when I do small talk. Thank you. Yeah, no, then you ask questions like this, and then they get lost in the sauce, and then they don't understand what's happening in a regular ass conversation, or something along the lines of like, you're getting too deep for them, which is funny, because then it's like, all right, if you don't want to go too deep, let's talk about the weather then. And speaking about the weather, it's going to be great weather outside. So a little bit of a note, but anyways, I was just thinking about, and I think I'm just going to keep talking about it, because I maybe working through it mentally will help distinguish something, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll make you think about something as well. But we'll see. We'll see what the voiceover says, because that'll be later today, me most likely. So I will see you on the inside. All right, so today we start off with dips, which felt great. I was very tired when coming into the gym. I caught myself yawning on the way up the stairs, which was kind of annoying, but that's just because personally I like to try to not yawn before I go into the gym, or not yawn whilst in the gym. It's just a personal thing. But anyways, honestly, this type of video is a very interesting type of video, because it's more of a philosophical one where I could actually express my thoughts and feelings about a certain subject and stuff. And this subject isn't even necessarily that deep for me per se. It's just one of those things that came up in a thought experiment as to what I would talk to Joe Rogan about. And this would be something, I don't know where the conversation would lead with Joe or anybody else, honestly, but that's why I like to do these types of things, just to see where it goes. Hey, it's better than, you know, who would win in a fight, Goku or Superman, although we know Goku would win, but that's an entirely different argument and also video. But anyways, I digress. So taking this time to talk about a little bit of more of the ideas that I come to mind, because after I thought about it a little bit more realistically, this video is kind of a gateway into talking about the collective unconscious, which I don't want to do in this video because that is a whole other subject matter, and I could not do it justice here on this video, since this is just an opening thought to what that possibly could even look like. So that is something I will save for a different video, as I can get much more deeper into that. Also, I can do more research on it, so I'm not as such a novice into something like that, because it's such a vast and deep subject matter. But I will talk about, there is something that is kind of related to that, in that I could talk about synchronicity here, which I think I'll make its own episode. But I think there is something where I mentioned at the end something about synchronicity, and I will say here now too that yeah, I could imagine that synchronicity is something where the idea may not be original, but the world is telling you that you're going in the right direction because it's showing you these signs that these things should be happening in your life. So possibly that is where I also am thinking about the idea of the original thought not being necessarily original, but the world is telling you the thought in itself, if that makes any sense. And it's just interesting to even think about. Most people don't really think about these things, or at least maybe they do, and they just never really vocalize it. I'm not even 100% sure. I think when it comes down to it, a lot of this is somewhat comes from a place of I want to make sure that if I'm creating something, especially something like with these videos and stuff, that I'm creating something that is original or at least somewhat novel in the sense that it's not been done before. Although this genre of videos has been done to death by different people by different variations. I just wanted to hopefully give my own twist, which is this podcast style where I'm not necessarily only discussing my workouts, but more so just going into my thoughts, other avenues about things that I have going through the brain and stuff. So it is interesting to think about generally. I think that these types of videos, or just generally the thought process of, do I know something that is actually based off of what my thoughts are, is interesting. I think about it sometimes when asking myself, like, why do I like this thing? Like, why do I like X, Y, or Z? What has influenced me to like X, Y, or Z? So, like, you know, what was the influence as to me to go to the gym? And I think that was because I was fat for a good long chunk of my life. So I like not being fat. And I also like seeing myself in muscles, or with muscles. So there's that. But I think that is also another subject for a different video, because that will be hopefully coming up soon. But overall, to kind of put a bow on this, I think, have I ever had any original thoughts? Probably, but I think they're more so along the lines of things that are, maybe there's something along the lines of they have only existed in this time frame of the world, but the base thought of it, like the primary core of the thought, is something that has always been there, and even in the primordial like thought process, if that makes any sense. So something along the lines of, just to put it in an example, a meme or something like that. Well, like the core to the meme is just another type of meme or inside joke that has been replicated in something that I'm watching and or that I want to create, and then that way it's like everybody who sees the meme gets the essence or the core of what I'm saying, since it's something that's so generally widespread, or as I was saying earlier, primordial, but the outside of it looks different. So then that way it is my own take or coloring of a thought, and then that makes it quote original and stuff. That's just something that I always think about. These are random thoughts, particularly the entire like original thought. Like, you know, like, do I have anything that's actually mine? And I think there are probably some that are just mine, but I think that most thoughts are just the core of something more primordial and old, with the colorings of your own world really coloring the outside of it. So it's easily digestible to you, if that makes any sense. I'm glad I actually really thought about this and kind of thought this all out, because now I actually have an idea of what I want to look up and or get really into if I really want to go down this rabbit hole of thought processes and all that other stuff. Because realistically, I think talking to myself and also just thinking about it more frequently and openly has allowed me to get through and really work out what it is that I'm really trying to even say with any of these things in my brain. So this video was kind of nice for that. I don't know if any of you will hear this, but if you do, let me know what you think in the comments below. You gotta YouTube it up. And we're back! Hello and welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercise is not filmed, none. Exercise is skipped. I actually did end up skipping. What the hell did I skip? Skull crushers. Dumbbell skull crushers. I had to skip that because the weight I wanted to use was being used. So I couldn't do anything about it, which sucked. And it sucked very much because it was just one of the two and there was only two of them. So I was very annoyed. I will actually end up doing those tomorrow because they're more rehabilitation rather than actual like trying to get them bigger, if that makes any sense. But anyways, so to kind of conclude, I have no idea where the hell the voiceover is going to go for this one, but I'm gonna be honest, yeah, these are the thoughts that go through my brain sometimes when it comes to these things. please hold the phone here. Gonna have to hold on a second. The road in front of me is closed here. Like I was saying, most of the time when I have these thoughts, they kind of just intrude in my head for a little while, and then they like bounce around, and then they kind of leave, come back every once in a while. Particularly this one. I think this one was just such a like, part of me feels that I worry about the thought of not having an original thought, in the sense that maybe that one day I might create something that has already been made, or I have created something where I don't even realize that is unoriginal, you know, like that entire thing. And it's like a worry, a weird worry I have about like maybe like online creation or just in general creation, like just somebody millions of miles away happen to have the same mind wave. Do you both happen to listen to the collective unconscious at the exact same time? And then there you go. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there is no original thought, and that we are all just listening to collective unconscious that has been going on since the dawn of time, and then thus there are no real new ideas, only ideas that have been echoed from different centuries. Who knows? That's a video for a different day. Maybe I'll do that. The voiceover, hopefully I would have talked about synchronicity as well. I think that has something to do with thought as well, what we see out there in the world and stuff. It's just an interesting thought experiment. Personally, I like to think about it sometimes. I'll probably do more episodes like this where I just ponder. There you go, that's the word I'm looking for, where I sit here and ponder on things, you know, sit in front of my orb and ponder. There are some things where I'll say it ain't that deep, bruh, but there are some things where it is that deep, and this is one of them. I feel like, you know, original thought is something to think about, you know, but who knows. But anyways, tell me what you think in the comments below, what your thoughts and processes are. If you've ever actually sat there and wondered, I wonder if this is original or not, or if you've immediately Googled an idea that you had just to find out it was an actual thing. Please let me know in the comments below. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I will be back on tomorrow. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with anybody that would watch this. But please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.